I've been hearing some rumblings here
Uh-oh.
at NCAA's. It's just an
About?
overall vibe.
Hold on. Hold on. Is there breaking news? You doing breaking news?
I don't know if it's breaking news. I could call it
Duke
breaking news and then you'll
lost.
get mad. Oh,
Breaking news. Breaking news. Duke has lost the game.
guys, it was a big deal. That was a news story all day that Duke lost their final home game. All right.
And it was
You may not think
broken
it's
by
breaking,
quarterback.
but all right.
Go ahead. What's your
Um,
what's your vibe? What's the vibe at the news
so
that you're breaking?
talking to a bunch of coaches here, they are not happy with how the season ended because, and I think it's really highlighted by how quick times are. So it's mainly distance coaches, but obviously it was a record setting top 16 mark in pretty much every distance event. Like
Yeah.
someone, there was times that were 17th in the country that were like top 2 last year, right? It's been
Yeah.
stupid fast. And a lot of these marks also got done like at the end of the year and during conference
Mhm.
championship meet. And basically coaches are like, I'm going to my conference championship and I'm spending more time refreshing results around the country than trying to win my conference title with my guys, with my kids.
Mhm.
And it's like, that's not right. Why am I caring more about a top 16 descending order list from around the country than trying to win my conference title?
Mhm.
Why is an athlete who goes on to win their conference mile, finish the race, and says, I'm sorry, coach? It's like, you just won. He's like, well, I ran zero point 0.5 seconds too slow, so I'm not going to nationals. And he's like,
Mhm.
that's not right. Which I kind of have a point. Like, it's kind of weird. You go on to conferences, win it, and be like, sorry, coach. It's like, sorry, you freaking won. That's what. And basically, it comes down to with the standards, with the time, people running so fast and people jumping across the country, going to fast track here, flat conversion track there. The essence of just going to a track meet to try to win it is like
Yeah.
kind of leaving the picture. People are running regular season for just being top 16 and not running the regular season to win the race that they're in. And I think there's reasons for this. I communicate like, yeah, it's because it's shortened season. It's because it's only top 16. Outdoors, 96 people get to go to
Right.
regionals. So it's a lot easier to be in the top 96 than top 16. And so there's definitely factors in with people running fast. It feels hard, it feels weirder because you're like seeing you go into the year thinking if I coach a 7:48 3K runner, that's amazing, and
Mhm.
they're going to NCAAs, but now that they're like 30th. So there's just a sense from the coaches that they kind of are frustrated with the qualifying procedure for NCAA indoors, and that it's
Mhm.
kind of taken away from the essence of racing, and that the sport that those 2 months are just like overwhelmed with
Mhm.
results tracking and not racing. So that was interesting.
But that's been the case for years now. People flying across the country, teams going to multiple meets on a weekend, the lack of
Yep.
dual, tri, quad type meets. Is the difference now you just don't know what it takes? And before, you at least knew what it took so you could bank a time early on. And then you say, okay, now let's focus on competition because you have the time. And then now no one knows what to expect.
I think in general there was like not research, but there was an understanding. You kind of had an idea of what it took.
Yeah.
So while you're still chasing times, you kind of knew when you're safe. But with these shoes coming into the mix, these coaches have yet to recalibrate to actually what the new what it takes is. And
Yeah.
this was the first year of them being caught off guard with what it takes. I mean, we had coaches thinking that, I mean, Dave Smith was like 928 is safe in the DMR. And we were like, maybe
Mhm.
it's not. And it clearly wasn't. It's a good thing he ran again 3 weeks later and they ran
Yeah.
like 924 and they're in, or whatever they ran, 920 something. Uh, but I think it's because the coaches were all caught off guard with this season.
Okay.
Like
So I see
because they were. I
I
mean,
see
we were like
yeah.
90 kids are breaking 4 minutes in a mile. Like it's
Mhm.
incredible.
So I see three possible solutions to this. One, everybody just gets used to the times because the shoe stuff slows down, and then we just revert to what it was a couple of years ago. Similar scenario. People are still flying all over, but you at least know what it takes and you can bank it. Two, they actually change. They try to mimic the outdoor season where more people get in and they have a qualifying meet, so that way you don't need to run as fast the time of the regular season. You can focus on um, the other meets. Or I guess a more extreme example would be that. And this is one thing we talked about at the beginning of COVID when we were talking about NCAA teams being strapped for cash and just or is this just going to turn into four super conferences out there for D1? And if it does, then you could just do a straight qualification from those four super conferences, and then that solves the problem. Maybe you have a couple at larges, but then everybody just qualifies out of conference. That doesn't look like it's going to happen. Or the third and final one, you lock the times at a certain point, and that's pre-conference. So then conference, you could just focus on competition and make it a little more even. But with the season being so short, taking away a chance to qualify doesn't seem likely. Which one of those scenarios do you think it'll end up being? I mean, I have my money on the first one.
Yeah, I mean, no change is going to happen. That's always where you should put your money because when you have to get a bunch of coaches to agree to something, you're going to always have someone. It's like government. You can never get everyone on the same page for any
Right.
change because everyone's like, that affects me differently. Nope. It's like, oh, okay. Um, yeah, I mean, coaches were throwing out ideas like you can't like get rid of last chance meets where like once you have your conference meet, you're done. You can't do anything after a conference meet.
Okay.
Uh, which I don't know if I like that because it's like, okay, that's weird. Well, all right. And then another one was like, um, what was the other one? Oh, this was interesting. You only can run only times on banked 200-meter tracks count. So you can't
Yeah.
go to a flat track or 300-meter track or an altitude track. And you can do that. You can run those times, but it doesn't count towards qualification, which I was
Hmm.
like, obviously that gives an advantage for people who are
Yeah.
near those
Exactly.
tracks.
Yeah.
And they say, well, there's so many of these 200-meter tracks now. It's fine. Like there used
Hmm.
to be a time we have so many more indoor tracks than we used to have. So it's okay,
Yeah.
which I don't know if that's true. And then another one, which I thought was crazy, is your mark only counts if everyone in the field is a college kid. So you
It's just
can't
so
be
tough.
rabbited by pros.
Yeah. All right. Well, that one actually, if you told that rule to somebody who has no knowledge of track and field, that would make total sense to them because they'd be like, wait, why
Yeah,
are pros competing in a college race and helping a college? Like, you're getting an advantage out of that because you're helping
yeah,
that college kid qualify for a meet. They can go and score points and they can win an NCAA title. That one actually, it doesn't, to us, we're like, no, that wouldn't work because what are you going to do with this meet and that meet and this meet and that meet? You're going to make
yeah,
this person run it at Milrose? They're not going to be allowed to run at Milrose, but they're faster than all the pros. They should be able to run at Milrose.
yeah,
But if you're not involved in the track world, it's like, of course, that makes sense. I think the problem with all these is track is just still this unwieldy big sport, a lot of different constituencies, a lot of different needs being met. And you make one change and you piss off one group, and you do another change and you piss
yeah,
off another group. The track thing is a perfect example. Well, not everybody has access to track. Not everybody has um, the ability to travel all over the country or send their team in multiple different places. Some of these schools at altitude, well, you have to give them a conversion, right? But then the non-altitude schools are like, well, the conversion is too much, or you're at a flat track. Well, that conversion is off. It's either too slow or too fast. With
yeah,
regular track, outdoor track, there's only one way they build those tracks in general, at least in the distance of the track around. You still have the altitude factor, but you're right. You're qualifying so many people that the time element is lessened. So yeah, my thought is that it's just going to stay where it is because any change is just going to have as much push and pull. But going back to your cross country idea from way back when, having a multiple step qualification process would be helpful. Like it would level the playing field in one sense. but it also just you have a hard time figuring out how that's going to fit into this small window of time that they have for indoors.
I mean, why don't we do this? Just thought of this right now. You ready? It's not top
One
16
big
at
relay?
qualify. It's not top 16 at qualify. It's top 64 at qualify in every event. No
Uh-huh.
one's going to complain that their 65th ranked athlete's not in, right? Because it's
Yeah.
like, all right, well, come on, you could be top 64 if you wanted to. All right, so you got rid of the complaints. Boom. All right, when do you want? How do you find a winner out of 64? I'll tell you.
Regionals.
First weekend of March Madness, you host a track meet, and you wheel the field down to 32, and then the next weekend of March Madness, because there's 3 weekends of March Madness, you wheeled the field down to 16. And then the final weekend of March Madness, you have your NCAA field. And so we really just hijacked March Madness. We host the track meets at the locations of NCAA basketball. And then we just piggyback off of their publicity. And then we have a bunch of basketball fans coming to our track meet. We'll have like LeBron James sitting trackside watching the triple jump. It's going to be great.
So, yeah, that won't happen. But starting at 64, though, is interesting because you could go 64 down to 32, and then you could go 32 all the way down to the final from there. Couldn't you?
Yeah. Do that.
So that way, the championship weekend is just one little, like it's one session, basically, or I guess two short sessions. You could do it that way. I guess you just have to back everything up, and then it just. The problem is like indoors just jammed in there. Indoors just jammed in between cross and outdoor, and there's just not a lot of wiggle room for it.
I don't think you. Yeah,
You want to you extend it all the way to April?
Well, maybe you should just tell people to run more in January. Coaches are just arbitrarily deciding like, I can't be fit now. I have to be fit later. I don't know.
Yeah. You need to do another pod on this. You should do a pod on this.
Coaches are.
You should do an NCAA track show on this.
Sorry, keep interrupting you. Sorry. Coaches have designed that only 2 weekends matter: mid-February and beginning of February / end of January.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Why? Because that's just how we do it. 2 weeks out of conferences, 4 weeks out of conferences. That's just that's the cycle we go on. That's the way it works. Sorry. I don't know. Remember that time you did a really hard workout on a Tuesday? Maybe host a track meet that day. Instead of doing that hard workout on Tuesday, host a track meet. Boom. Done. We have a workout Wednesday series where we host all these track meets on Wednesdays. Mm-hmm. And instead of running the workout, we actually put a fully automatic timer on the track, and then we record it, and it's official, and then that's your time. Obviously, I'm joking a little bit here, but maybe not. I don't know. I think track is just, it's a weird sport where we kind of overcomplicate it, and coaches are going to complain that we're not getting back to the essence of just racing. But you do have to admit the coaches are part of the problem because they're going